Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm super excited to be sharing Holo's new One Coat Chrome collection. So this is a brand new formula to the Holo line that includes a new base coat as well. And I have some thoughts about this collection, but as always, I will save those until after the comparisons. For now, let's just get into the swatches. So first up we have the Quick Dry Base, and this is the newest base coat to Holo's line. This was apparently specifically formulated to work best under the new chrome polishes, which we'll get to a little bit later in the video, but you can obviously use any regular polish over this base coat as well. So there is a slight purple tint to it in the bottle, but it does apply clear on the nail, and this is what I'll be using under all my swatches today. The first polish we have is World's First, which is a pretty classic silver chrome shade. So I'm actually so glad that these come with a wide brush. It just makes application super easy and less streaky than using a skinny brush. The formula is absolutely flawless. It's insanely opaque and I didn't find it too thick either. So it was really easy to work with, but you still want to be careful with your application to avoid any brush strokes, though they aren't super streaky. This one was fully opaque for me on the first coat alone, which was really impressive, but definitely lives up to the name of this collection. And yeah, I think most people can definitely get away with one coat, but you might need a second if your nails are longer. So here I am holding the bottle just to kind of show you how different it does look when it's applied on the nail. I kind of like how it looks in the bottle a little bit more, and I thought that maybe sponging on a layer might give a more similar effect, but I think I just used a little too much polish, so it sort of gave it a little bit of a textured look even though it was completely smooth. So not my best application, but yeah. The next shade is Trophy Life, which is this almost kind of antique gold chrome shade. So this had the same impeccable one coat formula, so there's no complaints there. But as far as the color goes, I just don't really love this one. I understand coming out with a gold to pair with a silver, but I just don't think that this one is a flattering shade of gold. At least on my skin tone. Maybe it'll look nicer on deeper skin tones, but yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of this one. I think it's my least favorite from this collection, but I think it is useful to have for nail art purposes, so there's always a use. So again, here it is next to the bottle, and you can see that it applies almost a little bit darker. I feel like it's just not as bright as what you see in the bottle. Maybe it's just this lighting. And here it is with the sponged on layer. I think the right side of my nail came out a little bit more smoother, so it almost matches what you see in the bottle more. So I did like that, but yeah, it still kind of has that slightly textured look. Next up we have Aquafoil, which is this bright aqua chrome shade. So as expected, the formula on this one was the same, where it provided one coat coverage, so it was just really satisfying to apply and it looked really great. I just kind of wish that it looked a little bit more like what you see in the bottle or in the mixing video that they shared on Instagram. It just looks so light and icy looking, but you're not really going to get that same kind of color on the nail as when it's just being mixed. So at least the good thing is that this is still a really beautiful color, and I also noticed that after a couple more minutes of wearing it, whatever brush strokes were there really dissipated a lot more, so it ends up looking a little softer. So again, here it is next to the bottle just to kind of show that difference in texture and color. And yeah, I just really wish that what we see in the bottle kind of showed up a little bit more on the nail, if that makes sense. It doesn't look as bright, at least under my desk lighting, but here it is with the layer sponged on, and it does look a little bit nicer, at least to match that sort of texture. Again, my application isn't the best, but it's a beautiful color either way. The next polish is Iron Violet, which is this beautiful violet purple, but almost indigo kind of chrome shade. So I really loved the color of this one. It just glows so much. And I really do love the contrast between the light reflective parts that you see under the direct light source and then those darker, cooler shadows. So this one had that same chef's kiss formula, just like the rest of the polishes. And I think this is definitely one of my favorites from this collection, and I'm sure so many others are going to love this one the most. So here it is again next to the bottle, and I was actually kind of surprised to see how different these looked color-wise. I mean, it's still very subtle, but it just looks a lot more purple on the nail to me than it does in the bottle. It looks a little bit more blue or indigo. And again, once I do the sponged on layer, it matches a little bit closer to what is in the bottle, which I'm more of a fan of. I think it gives it that kind of plush velvet kind of feel, but it's completely smooth and not textured, so I love this one. And the last polish in this collection is Pink Steel, which is an icy cool pink chrome shade. So I think this was the second shade reveal in a newsletter earlier this week, and at first I wasn't super into it, even though I absolutely love pinks. I think because of how icy this one looks, I just would prefer wearing it more during the winter time, and I'm a seasonal wearer, so I'm kind of getting past winter shades right now and looking forward to the brighter spring colors, but this still is a really cute shade of pink. So it has the same impeccable, flawless formula that's fully opaque on the first coat, and I found that it applies a little bit darker than what you see in the bottle, but it's still very, very similar. It's really just, you know, those shadows that end up making it look a little bit darker. And once I did the sponged on layer on top, it matched again the texture, so to speak, of what you see in the bottle, so I did end up liking it a little bit more than just applying it as is. So I'm definitely curious to know if you would consider sponging on a layer for these, or if you're more interested in wearing them as just straight chrome polishes. So for comparisons, I actually wanted to start by using a different base coat to compare to the new quick dry base to see how it would actually affect how the chrome polishes apply. So I'll be using Mooncat's smoothing nail primer to kind of serve in place of Holo Taco's smoothing base or just any other milky kind of base coat. So I applied the Mooncat one first and listened to a couple songs to make sure it was fully dried down. And then I applied World's First as I would with a regular swatch. So at first I thought it was pretty normal, but after a few more strokes, you can see the chrome starts to pull away the Mooncat base near my cuticle and even at the tip of my nail. So I was kind of surprised to see that, since again, it was fully dried down and I was trying to float the brush as much as possible. I wasn't trying to apply any pressure, and I've never had any issues with this Mooncat base before, so I really do think it is a formula / chemistry thing, since the chrome is super smooth over the quick dry base. Next, I wanted to show how Aquafoil looks next to Hydropower, since I thought this might be kind of a similar color, despite their very obviously different formulas. But I will say that Aquafoil is lighter and leans a little bit more teal than Hydropower, so maybe it would be more similar to a shade like Mint Money. Next, for Pink Steel, I have it here next to Menchie the Cat, which is pretty similar when it comes to that icy pink kind of color, though I would say Pink Steel is a little bit more purple leaning, but they definitely make a really cute pair. I also wanted to show Pink Steel next to Fake Date because I think that these are very similar color-wise and even reflective-wise, if that makes sense. Like, they're both very icy, purpley pink kind of shades that are super, super shiny and reflective, but again, very obviously different formulas, so definitely not dupes. And here's a little skittle of all the new shades with top coat in the sun so you can see just how reflective and bright they are. I thought that they looked super shiny and very chrome-like, and they almost even glowed in certain angles, like here. I just thought that they were so cool. There is going to be a lot more contrast on the nails because the light is reflecting off of a curved surface on your nails compared to the flat surface of the bottles, where as you can see in some angles it's like so blinding. So as much as I kind of wish we had that same blinding effect, I think they still look really, really cool, especially in the sun. And lastly, here's a clip in the shade where you can see they're still really bright even though they're more diffused looking. I feel like they kind of look like foil candy wrappers with these pastel colors, so I think they actually are pretty cute. And that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for the new Holo Taco One Coat Chrome collection. As always, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this release, because I definitely think they're an interesting lineup of shades in a very unique formula, but I'm personally not the biggest fan of chrome polishes. I think chrome nails are very cool, but usually it's because I'm thinking of the gel version where you buff in chrome powder onto a top coat of gel and it gives this very high gloss mirror-like shine that's super, super flawless. And I totally understand that you can't exactly replicate that with regular nail polishes, but these are definitely very shiny and reflective, but they just kind of feel like a little step above a metallic for me. And I just don't really wear those that often, but I do think these would be really, really great for nail art purposes or just accent nails or details and stuff, because they are very pigmented and have a great formula. As far as the new base coat goes, I definitely do think it is worth getting. At first I thought, well, maybe if you're just very patient with any other base coat and you let it dry completely, it'll be fine. And even looking back on my swatch clip of World's First over the Mooncat base coat, I thought maybe it could have worked if I didn't do as many strokes, but honestly, I think it's just too much of a hassle to try and be extra careful, because these polishes are not forgiving. Any kind of metallics are gonna show imperfections on your nails, so I definitely think it's just worth getting the quick dry base because it's formulated to have this smooth, flawless foundation for this specific finish. So I definitely do think it's worth it if you are interested in even grabbing a few of the shades, because otherwise it'll just kind of not be a fun experience. As far as my favorites go, I definitely would say it's between the three more colorful kind of shades, but I would say Iron Violet I think is my top favorite, and then followed by Aquafoil and then Pink Steel, because they're just more springy to me, and especially with these two, they're just a lot brighter and like a little bit deeper at the same time. So I think they're just much more unique compared to the more mixed metals expected type of formula or color when it comes to this chrome metallic formula. So definitely let me know what your favorite is, or just what you think of this collection down below in the comments so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.